This is the world in a certain year, I don't know. People discovered that a person's soul can be materialized, also known as idea, the essence of the soul. At some point, people will become aware of their soul's idea and be able to summon their idea. The red shirt guy walked over and said to his friend, "When I summon idea, a long sword appeared." The boy looked surprised. "Really? Let me see." Idea began to be used in everyday speech. People could summon idea in physical form at any time. The red shirt boy continued to ask his friend, "What is your idea?" The other guy awkwardly scratched his ears and neck. "Ah, mine are bricks." When this happened, people began to divide into ranks. Seeing that his friend in front of him was something ordinary, the red shirt boy exclaimed, "Are you an E level?" Then the guy in the red shirt left coldly. "I can't be friends with a level E." Souls were once equal to each other, then they were hierarchical, and finally people were classified. The school then degenerated into a tool to help the country's position by placing those of higher idea rank at the vanguard of war. This is one of those environments, Hyundai Special Training High School. At this time, there was a match in the school and a student was surrounded by many people, but he showed a confident smile. "Summon idea, his giant iron axe." Raising the axe high, he said contemptuously, "Can you 10th graders only be able to do this? Let's try harder." Facing that attack, the classmate in white summoned a light stick to respond, light cast. But the difference in rank made him immediately overwhelmed. The strength from his friend made the white shirt stop. He stepped back and shouted, he got over it, really. After being attacked, unable to block repeatedly and allowing his opponent to pass him, this red-haired man gritted his teeth and shouted, "Park Jin-sung, this bastard, don't just stand there and watch, do something." Park Jin-sung stood to the side, his face expressionless. He also wanted to help, but his superiors told him that if he didn't listen, he wouldn't know what to do. Jin-sung scratched his head and smiled faintly. "That said, my participation won't help anything." The red-haired young man immediately became so mad that he appeared as a demon. He cursed loudly, "Hey, you useless bastard, we will talk to you after the fight." Turning around, Park Jin-sung was approached by him to talk, but this was a bit strange. The red hair immediately kicked Park Jin-sung across the chest and began a song of reproach. "Are you planning on being so ridiculous all the time?" Not only the red head, there was also a guy wearing glasses and wearing a black suit. This guy was definitely the type of scoundrel pretending to be an intellectual. He said, "It's all your fault that we lost." Even though his two friends were dissatisfied and insulted him, even beating people without mercy, Park Jin-sung still laughed as if nothing had happened. Redhead said, "I can't believe we have to be on the same team as this useless bastard. What bad luck." The guy in the suit turned to agree. "What do you expect from the guy who ranked last in the whole school? You're stepping on shit." Jin-sung laughed and said, I'm sorry, but like you said, there's no use relying on someone who ranks last in the school like me." Seeing that, the white shirt became even angrier, cursing and punching Jin-sung in the face. "This bastard, go to hell, F-level guy." The moment the fist came out, Jin-sung quickly moved aside. He replied to the red-haired man, "Isn't it a bit too much to ask me to die? Can't I just give up?" But school violence has never ended so easily. The bullies did not ignore him and continued to rush towards Jin-sung, making physical impact. The redhead didn't expect Park Jin-sung to avoid his attack, while that scoundrel pretending to be knowledgeable boldly suggested, "Level F, because we're tired now, we'll only hit you 10 times for each affected member, just enjoy it." Park Jin-sung had some objections in his heart, but because of his useless status, he couldn't fight back against the big brothers. So among the 36 strategies, running away was the best strategy, getting into trouble was the best strategy. He thought that if this went on, he would be beaten for an hour. Take a break, there's no other way. Then Park Jin-sung ran and shouted, "Ah, someone save me!" But running away and getting into trouble didn't last long as the other students in the class just looked on and laughed. The bullies were still cheering and shouting, "How dare you run away, catch that bastard!" Other students in the class laughed. "He's running again, running away like a fly." Park Jin-sung was quickly surrounded by an aggressive crowd. That guy with the hair clenched his fist and said, "Ha ha, we will control ourselves, we will only beat you enough so that you won't come and tell on Mr. Yangho." Before fighting, they reminded each other, "Don't use idea, it will hurt." Another guy said, "You know we're banned from using idea at school, right?" Having said that, they rushed to physically impact Jin-sung, avoiding Park Jin-sung from running around wasting time again. The other friends saw that and did not stop them but instead joined in and cursed more. "How can an F level be in our class? I really want to beat him to a pulp. It's a shame to have to be in the same class as this trash. Why is he still in school? After all, he's just a useless F-level kid." They all don't like Park Jin-sung just because he's a useless F-level kid. Park Jin-sung was beaten and laughed so hard, "Guys, I don't think our team lost because of me." This sentence made the two leaders of the group of thugs even angrier. H aggressively walked towards Jinsung. Ah, this bastard is really real, how dare an F-rank guy like you argue with us. Luckily at this moment, the teacher came in and dispersed the crowd to announce the good news. Kids, sit down, today I have good news for you. The group of students regretfully returned to their seats. They quickly turned to ask the teacher if there was any good news. The two guys who beat Park Jinsung had not yet calmed down and had to return to their seats. The red hair said, I haven't yet finished beating it. The students who were interested in the teacher's good news happily asked, why are you so happy today, you're finally getting married. The teacher punched the board hard to drown out the students' chatter. Stop and watch quietly. Park Jinsung then returned to his seat and suddenly felt uncomfortable and didn't understand what was going on. As for the teacher, he continued to say okay and pay attention. Our school is finally recognized by the government. At this time, there was another student with an opinion. This person was Byun Gi-young, who had basic fighting ability, a common bully in school. He spoke up, with this tone of yours, what rules are coming from somewhere else, right? It's always causing trouble. The teacher walked up to Gi-young and reminded him, Byun Gi-young's break is over, put your feet down. Byun Gi-young looked up and arrogantly asked the teacher, hey, can I stop doing these things? The teacher replied, I'm not the one who decides, so it's best to get used to it. And this is all thanks to the excellent performance of your third-year seniors. Byun Gi-young looked surprised. He asked again, third year. The teacher returned to the podium and said as he walked, from today onwards, our school will become the initial testing ground for the military system. That means you guys will receive military ranks based on your performance. Now you're all comrades, understand? The teacher proudly continued to say, the teachers of each class have received military ranks, starting from lieutenant to platoon leader. From now on you will call me platoon leader of platoon 10. Byun Gi-young wondered again, we are the 10th platoon because we are the 10th grade, what are you turning the students into here? The teacher replied to him, stop nagging, this is a government proposal, so do your best. During training, you will have to salute like in the army. Now maybe there will be a bunch of people are trying to recruit students from our school, which means you're all soldiers now. Park Jinsung sat and listened, thinking, so we will have to work in the military style. Suddenly he stood up. Tell the teacher directly, what if we don't want to follow the military style? The teacher looked at him with a slightly angry expression. The teacher replied, of course the school will not force you. If you don't want to do it, you can ask the government to transfer you to another school. The students were buzzing, changing schools. The teacher advised Jinsung, Jinsung, I hope you will think carefully about this opportunity. I'm sure you know the reason, right? The other students began to complain. With this new form of teaching they demanded a legitimate reason for this. Teacher, why have we suddenly turned into a military school? At least give us a reason, we know the reason. The teacher calmly explained the reason. I told you, didn't I? Third-year students are very special. The third-year students helped our school be designated as a military school and all received the rank of sergeant. The students looked surprised, sergeant, all 3-star years. The teacher patted a student on the shoulder and replied, yes, all third years are the bright future of Korea, they have been recognized by the government. The teacher walked past the red-haired student, threw him a military rank, and said, only the top second-year students become corporals, the rest are all privates. Rank evaluation will be performed by your platoon leader at any time. You can find me anytime, I will help you as much as I can because your future depends on this. Since your badges are not attached to your uniform, you must keep them carefully. Later there will be a student handbook for students to put their badges on. Wait a minute, shouldn't it be called a military handbook? At this time, Park Jinsung raised his hand and said, teacher. Even though Park Jinsung called the teacher, he continued to move forward, teacher. The teacher still deliberately did not listen. He continued to say, in the whole school including first years, there was only one student who could not receive the rank of private. That's Jinsung, I'll start as a trainee. The teacher's words were like a bucket of cold water poured on Jinsung's head. He was disappointed, his face darkened when he saw the teacher asked again, what? Then during break Park Jinsung was called to the teacher's room. He walked in and asked, sir, the teacher saw Jinsung and gently said, is it here, Jinsung? Jinsung wondered, yes, why did you call me here early? The teacher held a stack of documents in his hand and said to him, oh, it's nothing, I think we should discuss your future. The teacher sighed and continued, I won't say any more, what do you think about transferring to another school? Jinsung suddenly asked, why did you change schools? The teacher said, school seems difficult for you, and I learned that when our school was converted into a military academy, you won't last long, Jinsung. Jinsung immediately replied, teacher, you have to look at the potential hidden deep within me, maybe I will naturally do well, what do you think? The teacher looked up at Jinsung suspiciously. Then he suddenly burst into laughter, Jinsung, you're so funny. Faced with the teacher's mocking attitude, Jin-sung thought to himself, this teacher has been laughing at me since the first time I saw him. The teacher's voice continued to ring out, Jin-sung, since the ranking system was set up to classify students, your school life has been extremely difficult. You know I can't pay attention to students who have problems, isolated. Hearing that, Jin-sung pondered, just like I thought my teacher thought I didn't know what to do but get beaten up. He doesn't want an F-level student in his class. Maybe he thought he would voluntarily drop out of school because he was bullied every day. There's no reason to need an F-rank idea. Jin-sung spoke up, teacher, I'm a little curious, do you think souls have a rank? After that, both teachers and students burst out laughing. The teacher burst out laughing, are you kidding me? Of course you are. At that moment, Jin-sung clenched his hands and said seriously, I know. Jin-sung's expression darkened, but I don't think so. A moment later the teacher returned to the classroom still wearing the red suit and slippers. He walked in and said from the classroom door, come on, go back to your seat quickly, the bell is ringing. Now our school has been converted into a military school, each sergeant reports his troop number. The blonde student turned around and counted the number of people in the class and reported, Platoon 10, Squad 1, total 10, 10 present, none absent. The red-haired boy also raised his hand to report, Platoon 10, Squad 2, total 11, 11 present, none absent. Park Jin-sung looked at his classmates and thought to himself, why do we have to act like the army? The teacher asked, where is Team 3, didn't you report? The third squad sergeant said, sir, do we really have to do that? The teacher looked at him, Byun Gi-young, sergeant of the third squad, don't ask too much, just do it. Byun Gi-young reluctantly replied, total 10, 2 absent, 1 is going to the bathroom, I hope that guy disappears already, 8 present, report them all. What Byun Gi-young reported made the whole class burst into laughter. They mocked, hey Byun Gi-young, your squad only has 9 people, then they turned to mock Park Jin-sung, he said you should disappear, you don't even count. They deliberately said loudly, teacher, do we need to count the apprentices too? The teacher pretended to be gentle, okay, so there is no problem with the number of troops. Today, instead of going to class we will have an event in the yard, there will be government inspectors mixed in with us, even the school doesn't know where they are. They will observe how children react to sudden changes in environment. A student suddenly said, sir, please get straight to the point. The other kids followed suit, that's right. The teacher scolded, everyone runs in front of the car with a flashlight, okay, we will fight in teams, including first year, second year and third year, the matches will be chosen by the inspectors. The students grumbled, aren't the third years going to fight each other? They don't care about us, do they? The teacher raised his hand to remind him, hey, calm down. Park Jin-sung was now thinking, then I can be an audience to kill time. The teacher turned to Byun Gi-young and asked, are you a D or grade C? Byun Gi-young embarrassedly admitted, yes, so what? What is your overall fighting ability? Byun Gi-young shouted angrily, why do you keep asking so many questions? I can eat my opponent, no need to worry. The teacher said, well, the first match will be your team playing against Platoon 1, and years 3, now, everyone with Platoon 3, let's go down to the field. Hearing the teacher's announcement, Gi-young stood up in panic, what? To Gi-young's surprise, the teacher didn't care and continued to announce, Team 3, you have 20 minutes to prepare for the match, do your best, Squad 3. The whole class moved down the field, not forgetting to taunt Jin-sung, novice, don't get killed haha, poor warriors, if you fight with him, you won't get any points. How are we supposed to deal with an F-rank guy? Hearing this, Gi-young was so angry that he trembled, he gritted his teeth and clenched his fist. Faced with the provocations of his classmates, Jin-sung decidedly ignored them all, I'm so sleepy, fighting with third years makes me sick, my eyes don't see, my mind doesn't bother my ears, I don't care. Byun Gi-young walked towards Park Jin-sung who was lying face down, preparing to take a nap. He annoyedly called Park Jin-sung, hey, you trash. Park Jin-sung raised his head and happily replied, you called me, Sergeant. Suddenly, Byun Gi-young gave Park Jin-sung a painful blow on the head and cursed, you trash bastard, the way you bark makes me crazy. He grabbed Jin-sung's hair and pulled him up, you want to get beaten up before the fight, don't you? Senior On Sung-ho, Platoon 1, third year, is a monster. However, even if our classes trump cards fight together, it's still difficult to win, but with an F-rank guy like you talking about it, isn't the result too obvious? Park Jin-sung didn't deny it, he even smiled, if we lose anyway, it doesn't matter if I'm present or not, right? Byun Gi-young was furious, he of course did not accept losing miserably like an F-grade trash, he even blamed Jin-sung for his downgrade, he shouted, if there is shit, we will be miserable, as bad as you. If my rank drops, Can you bear the responsibility? Park Jin-sung looked away and replied, I don't think you're tall enough to be at the top, so you don't have to worry. Seeing him say that, Byun Gi-young's head started to smoke. What did you just say? Park Jin-sung quickly corrected himself. Nothing, Sergeant, I didn't say anything. Byun Gi-young growled, I can't beat you, you rag, because you have to go out there. Park Jin-sung smiled, that's lucky. What's the difference between being beaten by warriors and being beaten by a high rank? Byun Gi-young curled her lips and smiled, I know, I'll let that cheap guy tear you down and be the sergeant of Group 3. Can you do it? Jin-sung hastily replied, of course, I will do everything you ask, haha, okay. Okay, from now on you will be my meat shield, is that clear? After that, Gi-young carried Park Jin-sung out into the yard. Coming to the arena, Byun Gi-young still didn't change his position. He pushed Jin-sung in front as a shield. If he didn't fight, he wouldn't be used to it. Once he knew how to fight, he realized he didn't need to know him. The teacher announced through the microphone, Squadron 3, Platoon 1, Squad Leader 1. Squadron 2, Platoon 10, Squad Leader 3. The teacher patted the shoulders of the two team leaders. Team 2, are you ready? Sung-ho is the leader of the first third-year squad. Even without the old teacher's encouragement, he is already a strong man. This old teacher is truly someone who tramples on the weak for the sake of the good. He came in front of On Sung-ho and said, Sung-ho, no, Captain On Sung-ho, show off your skills freely, the recruiters are watching. On Sung-ho nodded and replied, I will do my best while cooperating with my teammates. The teacher praised, okay, very good, I'm sure you will do very well. The signal sounded for each team member to take position. The competition between squads will begin now. Each captain will receive a bracelet. Byun Gi-young pulled Park Jin-sung to receive the bracelet. Come here, trash. This bracelet will use Adia's power to protect the wearer from shock, but will break when impacted with a certain force. Byun Gi-young put the bracelet on Park Jin-sung's hand and said, I will hold this to last a little longer. When the bracelet is broken, you will be eliminated. But this time, considering the difference in experience between Year 2 and Year 3, Class 2 out of 10 has additional conditions. You must last 5 minutes to be considered a winner. Park Jin-sung grumbled, Hey Captain, can you stop holding me like that? I feel like a dog. Byun Gi-young replied, Stop nagging, you're just a shield. Park Jin-sung sighed, Oh, I can't even be an animal anymore, I can only be an object. The students held their heads in frustration. With members like this, I'm not sure if we can last this much, and fight against people like this. Park Jin-sung pressed the timer for 5 minutes. He silently thought, 5 minutes to win. If our team wins, is it possible that the teacher will rethink his request for you to transfer schools? The command sounded, hello from both sides, sir, yes sir. The teacher shouted loudly, then let the battle begin. As soon as the battle started, Byun Gi-young dragged Park Jin-sung away. He was dragged on the ground with a surprised face. Everyone stood in place while he pulled Jin-sung back. Byun Gi-young now only cared about lasting 5 minutes, not caring about how the other team members fought. Jin-sung panicked, wait, Captain, Gi-young scolded, I said just now to shut up, you trash, he thought, we only need to last 5 minutes. The other members were confused, hey, Byun Gi-young ordered us to go, what about the formation? The seniors are coming. In front of them, the team of third-year students was also rising like a storm. When they were surrounded by their seniors, Byun Gi-young still could not give any orders. The members shouted, Byun Gi-young, you must give an order. Gi-young stood behind Jin-sung and shouted, shut up, Team 3 just protect me, if we last 5 minutes, we will win. I just saw him trembling and screaming for his teammates to protect him. Is this the strategy to stay on the field for 5 minutes? Of course, the plan did not go as smoothly as he thought and the students were quickly beaten by their brothers and sisters. Not long after, the scene was already in chaos. But it was true that they were in chaos. This girl wearing glasses just glanced at Byun Gi-young and was so scared that she almost logged out. Oh, she's looking at me, but anyway, the girl wearing glasses came very close to the two of them. The girl wearing the jack ran to Byun Gi-young at the fastest speed. Seeing Gi-young's luck, she quickly exclaimed, Stop it, trash, I said stop it. Park Jin-sung replied, How could I do that, Captain? Byun Gi-young quickly exclaimed, Damn it, I can stop this trash no matter what. Park Jin-sung suggested, shouldn't we run the other way or something? Park Jin-sung suggested running in another direction. Shouldn't we run in another direction or something? Suddenly he saw the old teacher outside smiling brightly and even winking. The teacher gave Jin-sung a thumbs up and said, I will handle your transfer. This action made him extremely upset and turned on. I felt a bit uncomfortable. Just in time for the glasses-wearing girl to rush forward, Park Jin-sung leaned forward by inertia and immediately dodged Byun Gi-young's arms, and avoided the glasses-wearing girl's attack. There is no romance here, just seeing a set of armor suddenly appear on her sister's body. Her glasses are also gone, a beautiful scene that not everyone can see. Park Jin-sung immediately blushed and praised his sister. Wow, your armor looks great, both appearance and function are idea. The other girl sensed it and he reacted to her speed but wasn't sure. She said in a suspicious voice, don't play dumb, you just reacted to my speed, right? Park Jin-sung pointed towards Byun Gi-young and said, what's more important is that your captain is running away. After speaking, Jin-sung remembered that he had to check the time. If you are not defeated, you will have to waste time transferring school. He was so impatient that the time was up in more than 3 minutes, so he still had to stop this girl at any cost. Jin-sung uses his IQ of 2000, plus his knowledge of flirting with girls is better than 0. Park Jin-sung poured out a series of stupid words in the hope of holding back his sister. Can I call you Nuna? I'm not flirting with you or anything. Oh no, I'm sorry, did I make you angry? Then I'll call you senior. The older sister's face didn't change and she coldly replied, if you want to delay the time, it's useless, summon your idea and beat it to death. Park Jin-sung was still shy and wanted to introduce himself to continue this not so good relationship, but we met each other thanks to fate, we have to introduce. The senior lost patience and said, if you continue to refuse to summon idea, I will fight you too. Park Jin-sung quickly begged, wait, please wait a moment. Of course she wouldn't let him, and firmly forced him to take idea out as best she could. Quickly take it out, yours seems to be the most valuable compared to your members. It is true that cruel people often live leisurely lives, while people who are about to evaporate do not take the initiative. Park Jin-sung sweated and exclaimed, why are you so hasty? You must know that a cool head is important. This is what my father often told my mother when he was being taught. At this time, the other sister's face darkened, her fierce face approached Jin-sung. Park Jin-sung answered 2 more sentences before having to compromise with his sister's aggression. Okay, I'll show you. He avoided the other person's eyes and smiled faintly. I'll take it out, okay. During the 3-hour count, he just pulled out a knife from the time when Napoleon stripped naked to fight the enemy. That was an Idea F-level dagger, capable of F-general combat, not even as good as a chef's knife, a normal dagger with no special skill. The older sister now felt a headache. Here, she was confused, could it be that you are like that? Seeing that, Park Jin-sung seemed very condescending. Where is your senior hurt? You should go to the nurse. The older sister still refused to let it go and said, let's see, are you the F-rank guy in that rumor? Without hesitation, Jin-sung replied, yes, I am that infamous F-rank guy. It's true that the young man doesn't have a trace of shame, and is even proud to admit it, and he still brags without hesitation. He smiled brightly and said, but to me, this dagger is S-rank, among normal daggers. The older sister turned around and left, thinking that she had thought too much and there was no way she could react like that. Park Jin-sung quickly asked, senior, I'm sorry, where are you going? The disappointed sister said, I thought you had value because of the way you reacted, but it was probably just luck. Wait, please don't go, I'm the one who wanted to see it. I can't just leave disappointed like that. If you keep going, I'll sneak up behind you and attack. This is the final warning, do you hear? However, no one would believe the words of a trash. The girl said, I have no reason to waste time with you in this time-limited battle. Park Jin-sung suddenly rushed forward. The girl suddenly stopped in surprise. Jin-sung thought, I thought she would continue to ignore me. What an honest senior. When the knife pointed straight at her, her sister raised her hand to block it. Thanks to the armor, her sister remained unharmed. Park Jin-sung saw that and immediately smiled. It's as tough as it looks, he said about this sister's armor. The atmosphere on the field was once again bustling. The students burst out laughing. Ha ha, that senior F subordinate is also confused. Did he really not cause any damage? Seeing that Park Jin-sung was so rustic, his sister had to help him with his embarrassment. She said, even if you have good reflexes, all of Idea are like that. I've already confirmed it has no effect, so let's just stop here. After listening, Park Jin-sung scratched his head and said, there's still 2 minutes left, I should have lasted a little longer. He bent down to look at the watch in his hand. At this time, Byun Gi-young saw the other sister walking towards her and loudly scolded Park Jin-sung, trash, can't you stand it for more than 5 minutes? After all, he's rated quite highly, Park Jin-sung can't even last a minute. The older sister rushed forward, she scolded the runaway, a guy who turned tail and ran away still said such words. It's a pity that Byun Gi-young's face is made of asphalt, so he's just trying to scare the other person to save some dignity. He said to his sister, senior, I'm just being gentle with you, you should stop there. Even though his mouth tried to say so, inside he was trembling with fear, silently praying that his sister would not believe what he said. The older sister said, there's no need to be gentle with me, let's see how your performance is. If you want more, on Sung Ho, then prove it more. While being chased by her sister, Byun Gyeong stepped on a rock. He immediately felt a large stone right under his feet. Damn it, I'm so unlucky today. But right after that, he felt proud. That stone appeared at the right time. That big stone, too, deserves to be scattered everywhere. He smiled smugly, secretly planning. Seeing that his sister was impatient to end this game, she asked him, "So when will you prove yourself?" Byun Gyeong replied, "If senior wants it, I will show it to you." Byun Gyeong's strange expression surprised her sister. She exclaimed, "What?" At that moment, Park Jin-sung quickly realized that this guy had hidden his strength. Byun Gyeong's idea level, couldn't he have hidden it? He quickly warned his sister of the danger. "It's dangerous, senior, you're wearing armor." After Park Jin-sung finished speaking, Byun Gyeong lifted the large block of stone from the ground up and ordered it thrown away. Pulling out something stuck and throwing it away is a B-level idea, which only manifests as C+ combined combat ability B. If this is a stuck object, then it can be used as weapons. The fixed weight of the object drawn can be ignored, depending on the user's ability. People also began to wonder who would win this confrontation. The students looked at Byun Gyeong, looking worried. "Oh, that third-year girl, will he be okay? That rock is that big." The older sister looked at Byun Gyeong firmly and asked, "So you're not running away anymore? Are you waiting until a dia appears so you can use that rock?" But it seems that Byun Gyeong is not in the habit of giving in to women. He lifted the heavy rock and prepared to throw it down to his sister. He was arrogant. "You are truly a trustworthy third-year senior. Now go away. Please become a path that I can trample on to express the essence of a dia. Is a set of 5 good? Byun Gyeong, will win." While talking loudly, he didn't expect that he was just a locust that hadn't caught a cicada yet, but was killed by a sparrow behind his back. Meet, he heard a voice in his ear. "Excuse me for a moment, second-year student." As soon as On Sung-ho finished speaking, he immediately jerked the arrogant boy's head to the ground. Byun Gyeong screamed in pain. Damn it, why did the third-year senior sneak in and attack like a coward? Meanwhile, her sister was having a hard time supporting the big rock just now. She thought to herself, "It's stronger than I thought, but, thanks to Adia, I can endure it." Suddenly, the older sister heard a voice ringing in her ears. "I will definitely catch you." In her surprise, the rock crumbled into smoke. This is the work of On Sung-ho. But she showed no gratitude to the captain for rescuing the siege, and muttered, "This should have been a good opportunity for me to show my Adia dignity. Why did you interfere, Captain?" Team leader On Sung-ho then replied, "That attack was a bit dangerous. I was just doing my job to protect the team member." The third-year sister started speaking in a skeptical voice. "What do you mean I shouldn't be able to handle it?" On Sung-ho immediately explained, "Juye, you can definitely handle that rock, but this bastard won't just do that." At that moment, Byun Gyeong also rushed forward. He intended to sneak attack. On Sung-ho didn't say anything more, immediately knocked Byun Gyeong down. "I will definitely catch you. I will definitely catch you. Idea level B, general combat ability A+, you will definitely catch any target you want, within a fixed distance. You can move freely and time will also be forgotten." Looking at the battle between the two, Park Jin-sung couldn't help but exclaim, "Oh my god, you're stupid, Captain." Thanks to that statement, Park Jin-sung was noticed by On Sung-ho, with a not very friendly attitude. Perhaps looking at his killer eyes, Park Jin-sung immediately surrendered. "Surrender, I surrender." On Sung-ho approached Park Jin-sung and asked, "Before that guy activated a dia, you warned Juye, what's wrong with you?" Park Jin-sung awkwardly replied, "Oh, our captain was a bit unable to control his anger, so I decided to do it because I didn't know what he would do." That excuse has no effect on Sung-ho. He said, "What a master liar." So even though Park Jin-sung had surrendered, On Sung-ho still rushed forward with one move. "I will definitely catch you." Park Jin-sung's wrist was twisted. The dagger immediately flew away. Park Jin-sung still tried to say, "On Sung-ho, please listen when others are talking." At the same time, Park Jin-sung's other unrestrained hand caught the dagger that had just been thrown away and launched an attack back at On Sung-ho, to remind him to listen when people are talking. Speak. For a skilled fighter like On Sung-ho, Park Jin-sung's recent behavior could not have been a fluke. He stared at Park Jin-sung and said in a suspicious voice, "That second-year student, who are you?" Seeing On Sung-ho like that, Park Jin-sung sweated nervously. The murderous intent is truly no joke. He immediately said, "I am a member of Squadron 2, Platoon 10, Platoon 3, Park Jin-sung, possessing F-rank Adia." On Sung-ho exclaimed, "Dude, I understand." At this time, Park Jin-sung discovered that there was only a little more time left, so he immediately panicked. On Sung-ho saw that Park Jin-sung was distracted and was not very satisfied. He looked with cold eyes and asked, "Sophomore student, where are you looking?" Meanwhile, Park Jin-sung just focused on wasting time. He said, "Look, there's a crowd over there. It seems like they're all very excited and looked at me in panic. Senior, the intention was so obvious that On Sung-ho recognized it immediately. Isn't it bad? Park Jin-sung hopes time passes quickly. After that, the captain understood his intention. Are you planning on prolonging it? I hate people like that very much. Park Jin-sung quickly said, what do you think I can do alone? No matter how much you say you hate me? On Sung-ho asked, why don't you try to win against me? Park Jin-sung smiled helplessly and replied, effort, I'm only an F level, so there's nothing I can do. On Sung-ho said again, this is not a warning, but an advice. People said that in this conference, the school scouts will select students who do not perform well and those who lack skills will be expelled. Hearing this, Park Jin-sung suddenly felt guilty. Expulsion? So that's why the homeroom teacher had such an expression. He immediately said, Senior, I don't want to be kicked out. On Sung-ho continued, then let's do it properly. Park Jin-sung stepped up, if Senior is my opponent, then I don't know if you'll be okay after the match. As he finished speaking, a blood-red aura hovered around Park Jin-sung's body, his eyes widened, and the blood vessels in his body gradually emerged. Dagger move, Idea level F, General Combat Ability F, a normal dagger with no special abilities. A sinister smile appeared on Park Jin-sung's lips. His physical strength is tripled compared to his original strength, and he can also see his opponent's critical points. The more powerful Idea's blood is, the stronger Park Jin-sung's ability becomes. Now, you can identify the most effective way to destroy your opponent with your current skill. Only when you completely destroy your opponent's Idea or take their life can you stop it. You have been haunted by the desire to kill. This is the real murderer, S-rank Idea. On Sung-ho calmly encouraged Park Jin-sung, I see that an F-rank dagger is not everything Idea is. Maybe he doesn't see the current situation clearly. Park Jin-sung turned on judgment mode, examined On Sung-ho from top to bottom and said, is it just be great? Your abilities are stronger than I thought. Hearing this, On Sung-ho frowned and suddenly realized something. On Sung-ho was very surprised with Park Jin-sung's ability to predict other people's Idea levels. No way, can you see other people's Idea? Park Jin-sung has now almost transformed into a different person, more crazy and bloodthirsty. This terrible murderous intent made On Sung-ho wary. Park Jin-sung asked, I'm sorry, I can't control myself anymore, you'll stop me, right? On Sung-ho thought, the killing intent is terrible, aren't your emotions older than your age? Park Jin-sung smiled, I know Senior will be fine. I can trust you, right? The audience below began to complain because the match suddenly stopped. Why is he still standing still? Maybe On Sung-ho feels he is not good enough to duel. Hey, why doesn't he move? Go, I came here to see him get beaten. On Sung-ho right now feels like he's been sprayed with glue and is stiff, he thought to himself. It looks like he doesn't bother to defend, but he doesn't see any openings. What is that energy? It's different from the last fight. This atmosphere, I don't think I can leave him alone. There's something strange, the third-year sister worried. Suddenly, she stepped forward and shouted loudly, I request all members to attack. So a group of third-year students rushed in and attacked Park Jin-sung. Hey, where are you guys? The older sister stepped forward and pushed Park Jin-sung's head down. He cried out, Senior, it's too heavy. Seeing his teammates running to attack Jin-sung, On Sung-ho immediately asked, what is this, Juye? She grimaced, just like the way you protect your team, I also want to protect my team. On Sung-ho said coldly, you don't need to be protected. Suddenly a voice rang out, cutting through the atmosphere, Senior, are you sure? Hearing this sentence made On Sung-ho remember the lightning moment just now. We attacked him for a moment, but no one fought back. Park Jin-sung, your speed and actions are faster than light. Was Park Jin-sung really attacked so hard that he couldn't react? On Sung-ho continued, actually, I'm not sure, but... The older sister looked at On Sung-ho and wondered, is he smiling? On Sung-ho said, anyway, Juye, release your Idea before it breaks. The girl suddenly felt her armor bursting. Did that quick attack cause this much damage? The other group's bracelets were all broken. My bracelet is broken. Mine is too. What is this? Why are everyone's bracelets destroyed? Maybe it broke coincidentally, right? At this time, Park Jin-sung appeared again in front of On Sung-ho. Although he was very tired, he tried to smile and say, great team spirit, Senior. He looked up at On Sung-ho. On Sung-ho asked, are you back to normal? Park Jin-sung replied, Senior, it's been 5 minutes, can you go somewhere else? Next time, I want the match not to be interfered with, On Sung-ho said, then turned and left. Park Jin-sung tried to insist, what do you mean by next time? I'm fine, just this time. Park Jin-sung, even though he was lying on the ground, still dragged On Sung-ho and firmly asked him to leave. Sung-ho also added, you should do a few things before, this is an advice. Park Jin-sung tried to call after him, wait, I said there won't be a next time. Everyone just went straight to the room, leaving only Park Jin-sung lying on the ground. He sighed, "Whoa, it's so difficult." When we got back to the schoolyard, the teacher was taking roll call, second year, platoon 10, third place team, Byun Gyeong team 1. Inside the principal's office, a voice rang out, "Ah, why is the advisor in this shabby place?" The advisor happily replied, "Ha ha, I came here secretly. Anyway, is the file I requested yet available?" The principal held out a stack of papers in his hand and said shyly, "They're here, sir." The man held the document in his hand and opened it. When he came to On Sung-ho's information page, he suddenly stopped and said, "Is this the famous game On Sung-ho?" The principal smiled gently. On Sung-ho is an excellent student, even around the world. He is the pride of Haeundae. The counselor looked at Sung-ho's profile and silently exclaimed, "There is no history of awards in middle school, but he always won every match in high school. Does he realize it?" The principal's voice continued to speak, interrupting the counselor's train of thought. "If the boy's IDEA grade is a little better, then it would be unfortunate, not if just because of a B rank he couldn't go this far." The man continued to flip through the documents, then suddenly stopped and exclaimed, "Is there an intern?" The principal looked at him and replied, "Ah, there is a student ranked lower than the first-year student. We placed him in the combat class after he argued." Hearing what the principal said, the man thought to himself, "I asked a few things about the interns, but this is quite interesting." "Is this student's past resume in the back?" The principal confirmed, "Yes, but you don't need to read it." The man deliberately flipped to the resume page and read, "This is a special case, having lost her parents at the age of 8, perhaps the shock caused Adia to not awaken and be taken advantage of by her aunt, rank F, and his uncle for a long time. Robbers broke into their house when he was 10 years old. He and his aunt received a large amount of damage both physically and mentally, forcing them to go to a mental hospital. Indeed, he awakened Adia that day." The man asked a question in a suspicious tone, "Doesn't Adia usually appear at the age of 8? The principal replied, "Yes, usually Adia will appear at the age of 8, but in this case there is a small change. But the documents say that robbers broke into their house when you were 10 years old, and as a result you awakened Adia that day." He thought, an Adia awakened late under special circumstances but only named F. Combat ability is still limited to F since the age of 10, the man asked again. The principal continued to answer, "I'm not sure, but he has kept an F grade since joining our school." The great-grandfather still looked at Jin-sung's profile and silently assessed, "The fighting ability of F rank is also too good. What is the purpose of him hiding his ability?" He suggested to the principal, "I want to meet Park Jin-sung privately." The principal replied, "I think he will be promoted soon because he is only ranked F." The great-grandfather still asked again, "So what?" The man started to stand up and said, "Yes, first, Mr. Principal." The principal asked suspiciously, "Advisor, why did you let our school be a military school?" The consulting man was a bit confused. He couldn't help but think, this question is too dangerous. It's a secret government project, a military plan. I don't know and I don't want to know either. Seeing that the advisor's expression was not very comfortable, the principal quickly waved his hand. "Sorry, I shouldn't ask." The advisor replied, "We are prepared to receive ridicule from the North. But with this system, we hope that there will be students who will help us change the past."
Park Jin-sung describes his morning. "My morning routine goes like this. I wake up at 6 a.m. As soon as the alarm bell rang, Park Jin-sung sat up, stretched, and started preparing his clothes.
Park Jin-sung looked at himself in the mirror and consoled himself, "Let's try our best today." Jin-sung finished dressing and left the house at 6:30. He opened the door and said, "Let's go." He looked around the school and thought to himself, "I came to school so early because I've been taking on all kinds of cleaning and other odd jobs lately." Just entering the school gate, Park Jin-sung was stopped by 3 people. A blonde asked, "Are you a second-year student?" "I don't think we need to dress as nice as him." Park Jin-sung scratched his head, smiled and said, "Yes, it's okay." Another boy pointed at Park Jin-sung and asked, "Wait, isn't he the only trainee at our school?" Park Jin-sung smiled and replied, "Am I already that famous? Guys, you're talking too much." A guy standing behind the blonde said, "He looks dumber than I thought." The blonde man said angrily, "I think the people of the first platoon are a bit too caught off guard." A senior asked Park Jin-sung, "Isn't your idea just a knife? That thing is so useless." Another person standing next to him also asked with a mocking voice, "How can you resist Sung-ho with that thing?" The blonde also chimed in, "Even he makes mistakes." Park Jin-sung grumbled while washing the whiteboard wipe, "It won't fly off anything. They even have the support of the government, so why don't they use a whiteboard instead of this thing?" Park Jin-sung had to clean all the floors and do all the chores, so things turned out like that. A black-haired guy wearing glasses said to Park Jin-sung, "I think you've really completed your part of the job by running away." Lee Dong-hoon also said to Park Jin-sung, Why didn't you do that to us from the beginning? The guy wearing glasses patted Park Jin-sung on the shoulder and said, I'm quite impressed too. It would be surprising if you got an F rank, thanks to you. Even though everything will definitely be unlucky, Park Jin-sung thought, after the battle with the third-year seniors, my image in everyone's eyes has gradually improved. When Park Jin-sung was sleeping on the table, Byun Gi-young slapped the table and shouted, Park Jin-sung, I told you to wake up, you trash. Park Jin-sung replied blankly, sorry, did you call me? He thought to himself, he's going to hit me again, isn't he? Byun Gi-young said, last time I couldn't get the math materials, so now you go get them for me. Park Jin-sung replied, okay. Byun Gi-young continued, go now, I need to copy the answer. Park Jin-sung thought to himself, isn't he planning to hit me? Well, maybe thanks to that, they've gradually stopped hitting me. Park Jin-sung was cleaning the floor when a group of students approached him and ordered him, last time I didn't have time to submit my social science homework, so please remember to submit it to me. A red-haired person passing by also said, hey, me too. Another person continued, Park Jin-sung, please return the textbook to the office later. Jin-sung thought, but instead, they started assigning all sorts of odd jobs to me. Jin-sung felt lethargic and tired. The bell rang signaling the end of class, and the students in the classroom shouted loudly, the teacher shouted loudly, be quiet, guy. You know today is the last day to join the club, right? This is a mandatory activity for second-year students, so if you haven't participated yet, please join quickly. Jin-sung held the paper and thought, which club should I join? Will anyone accept me? The teacher continued, if you don't join any clubs, we will have a private meeting with you, do you understand, trainee Park Jin-sung? The other students heard that and laughed, surely no club will accept an F-rank guy. Another student added, maybe they even gave him an entrance test to see how weak he was. Jin-sung thought, all you guys want to do is make fun of me. Jin-sung looked at the paper with various activities and was surprised, closing drill orders, idea statistics, emergency rescue, squad battles, separate battles, weapons research, idea practice, techniques, tiger fighting skills, ideological fighting training, emergency handling, high-level weapons, high-level martial arts, high-level attack skills, strengthening combat, learning about the art of war, learning about 36 different plans. What is this? Jin-sung looked around and saw all the clubs were related to the military or how to use idea. A student sitting behind him asked, hey friend, what club do you join? One replied, I think I'll join the squad battle club. The guy next to him asked, how is it rated? A girl said, wait, let's go to that club together. Other students talked to each other, they are rated quite highly. Looking forward to it, Lee Dong-hoon excitedly said, wait for me, I'm coming. In class, Park Jin-sung sat thinking, what should I do? I really hope that they will avoid the idea ministerial restriction. Park Jin-sung realized that these were not ordinary clubs but closely connected groups. Reading the line that had nothing to do with idea's usage but only focused on physical enhancement, Jin-sung suddenly felt happy. He thought that there was at least one club that wasn't restricted by the idea rank. Since it looked like a simple physical training club, Jin-sung thought that there wouldn't be many people joining. Although it is a bit strange that there is only one club using their own famous gym. Another place is where 3 people are fighting with each other. It's mine, go away, no, it's ours. Jin-sung still thinks there will be no problem, right? It was listed that there would be no reference to idea's usage. Looking in front of the club room, many people were lining up. Jin-sung said in surprise, why are there so many people? Did I come to the wrong place? But I'm sure this is the right place. A man in a blue shirt suddenly pointed at Jin-sung and said, F-level students from the class above are also here. Another person saw that and also replied, you're right. A man in a white shirt looked at Jin-sung and said, he's in the upper class but is actually an intern, so should I approach him to ask him a rude question? Jin-sung looked at the crowd and thought, most of them are first years. They're not required to join the club, so why are there so many people gathered here? Jin-sung wondered. A student suddenly said loudly, over there, the club president is coming out. Another girl also said, really, where is that? Others looked with admiration and said, so cool. Jin-sung saw the club leader coming out and said, who is that club president? Jin-sung seemed to see something, so he thought, what, I have to run murmurs around, this is crazy, so that rumor is correct. The club president saw Jin-sung and called out to him, Park Jin-sung. The others still couldn't stop admiring him, he looked so handsome from the outside. Senior, I'm your fan. Park Jin-sung asked curiously, are you the president of the Height Club? The club president is Sung-ho. Sung-ho asked Jin-sung, I didn't expect you to come here, I'm very impressed. Park Jin-sung, Sung-ho said loudly to everyone, all candidates, you can come in and get ready. Jin-sung thought, now I have to run away. Jin-sung thought, it will definitely be troublesome if I have something to do with my senior brother. Sung-ho asked Jin-sung, where are you going? Park Jin-sung. Jinsung laughed and replied, "Ahaha, I think I went to the wrong club location." Jinsung said, "I'll go look for it and then come back to see what happens." Sungho replied, "There are no other members in this club." Sungho asked, "You still refuse to participate?" Sungho continued asking, "Didn't you come here because you thought there would be less people here?" Jinsung thought he was right, but replied, "But there are so many candidates." Sungho said to Jinsung, "Come in, this is not a club that anyone can enter." Jinsung was about to leave and said, "As you probably know, I'm very low level so I probably won't be able to get in, so." Before Jinsung could finish speaking, Sungho grabbed his collar and dragged him in and said, "Now I will give you the entrance test, take the test with the other candidates." Jinsung screamed, "No, you said you're fine." Sungho said to everyone, "All the candidates are here, right? This year is too crowded, then we will start the entrance test, it's very simple." Sungho continued, "You just have to follow the exercises that I will do until the end of the class. If you do it you will pass. One set will consist of 30 burpees, 30 push-ups, then 30 more burpees and at the end that's 30 squats." The girls standing nearby kept admiring, "Sungho's voice is so charming, did he also take the test? He's really strong." A curious man said, "Wait, is that a game?" The girl standing next to her replied, "We will do it." Sungho continued, "If you can do 10 consecutive games without stopping, you pass." Jinsung stood aside, scratched his head, and said, "Just pretend I don't exist." The competition started. Everyone tried their best to follow Sungho's exercises, but the exercise was too difficult. Everyone was sweating profusely. Sungho approached the number 2 position of group 1 and said, "Number 2 is too slow, I failed." Sungho continued to evaluate, "Your 5 and 6 poses are really bad, fail." He kept urging, "You guys have to do it as fast as me." Others gradually couldn't stand it, constantly collapsed and lamented, "I can't do it anymore." The person next to him also said, "Me too." Jinsung saw that and thought, 30 burpees, 30 push-ups, 30 burpees again, then 30 more push-ups is one set. Besides, he looked like he did it very easily and there wasn't any discoloration on his face at all. Looking at the others gasping for air on the ground, Jinsung thought, how strong is the monster inside him? The last person collapsed and said, "I give up," Sungho announced. The first group was all eliminated. Sungho said, "We'll start with group 2 right away." The girl with long bangs said in fear, "What am I doing? I don't think I can do it." Another also said, "Scary but cool." The girl with long bangs pushed Jinsung away and said, "You go first, senior, level F is too much for letting me stand in front." Jinsung also pushed the girl away and replied, "I don't want it either, don't push me." Another young man pushed Jinsung up and said, "Come on, F level senior." Jinsung stood in front of Sungho and asked, "You don't look tired at all, are you sure you're human, senior? The fact that we're a year apart must be a lie." Sungho replied, "You shouldn't say that, Park Jinsung." Sungho announced, "Group 2 begins." Jinsung said confusedly, "I don't know what you're talking about, I won't do it." Jinsung lamented while doing his homework, "I can't do it." Jinsung thought, "I trained myself physically to be able to fight off bullies, so I thought I would be pretty good at subjects like this." Jinsung continued thinking, "But this is not something that normal people can do." In Jinsung's group, everyone was exhausted. Sungho also asked, "Group 2 is quite good, should I increase the speed?" Jinsung shouted, "You can't do that." The girl with short bangs was eating and talking. "The senior who has not passed the exam hasn't passed yet." The guy next to him also said, "Damn impressive. That girl with short bangs, she failed so now she can only look at it." The other onlookers were also discussing at this point whether his physical strength was at least top-notch, or whether his overall fighting ability was really at F level. The girl with long bangs was eating and said, "He definitely won't stop. This girl has been eliminated so now she can only sit and watch." Sungho scolded, "Be quiet, stay focused." Park Jinsung, a male student sitting outside, asked, "How many games have the two of them done?" The girl next to her replied, "This is the 7th game." The girl with short bangs also admired and said, "It's true that senior on Sungho is different, wonderful." The student next to him also said, "The F-level seniors are not inferior either." Sungho praised Jinsung, "That's quite good, Park Jinsung." Jinsung was tired now, his face was red, sweat was flowing, he thought to himself, "It's too much." Sungho said, "I already knew that the reaction speed I saw last time wasn't just a coincidence, you'll be able to catch up." Sungho sped up the progress, making everyone even more surprised. One person said, "Seniors are working even faster now, the speed is terrible, can F-level seniors be able to catch up?" Jinsung said suspiciously, "Are you telling the truth?" A guy sitting down to eat said, "That's too fast." The girl with short bangs pointed at the other two people and said in surprise, "He's already doing it." The girl with bangs said, "F level is catching up with national level people." The people outside kept cheering, "You can do it, F-level senior, you can do it, just a little more." Jinsung gritted his teeth and muttered each number, 27, 28, 29, 30. Sungho praised, "Very good, Park Jinsung." The people standing outside also cheered, "The F-level senior did it. Is he the only one who passed out of everyone?" Jinsung lay down tiredly and said, "I'm about to die." The people outside kept cheering, "I'm very impressed with you, congratulations on passing." Hearing the compliments made Jinsung happier. He thought, "Yeah, that's not bad, I'm being praised." Sungho walked over, reached out to Jinsung and said, "Congratulations on passing the test, well done." Sungho said, "Welcome to the Height Club, Park Jinsung." Jinsung grabbed Sungho's hand and replied, "Thank you, I guess I'll go rest now." Sungho told Jinsung, "There's no rush, you can come start tomorrow morning." Jinsung asked Sungho suspiciously, "Hello senior, didn't you hear what I just said?" Sungho replied, "The effectiveness of exercising is doubled when someone does it with you. I've been waiting for someone who can match my level for a long time." Jinsung asked, "On the same level as you, if we did one more game, you'd be dead. I thought you hated it when people liked you." Sungho said, "It took a whole year just to add one member." Jinsung angrily thought, "Damn, he won't listen to me at all. I just want to join some quiet club, but this club is so fucked up." Jinsung stayed behind to clean up the classroom and said to himself, "I just want to find a quiet club, but it doesn't seem easy at all. I don't want to go to the club at all." Jinsung sighed, continuing to wipe the table with a bored expression. "I just need to be there and all the attention will be on me," Jinsung thought, feeling heavy pressure from his classmates' eyes. Just thinking about joining a club with senior Sungho, a club that only has senior on Sungho, makes Jinsung nervous. He thought to himself, "How can I bear it? That's why I was bullied, had to face jealousy and questions all day long." Jinsung thought back to everyone's taunts, "How did you get into Height's room? Hey, say something." Jinsung thought again, "If I don't go, he will follow me all day." He imagined the scene of Sungho calling his name all day long and felt scared. Jinsung held the bag in his hand and suddenly thought, "Maybe I'll break my arm too." But he thought again, "But no, he just took me to the infirmary and took care of me. As soon as the treatment is finished, he will torture me." Another person called Jinsung, "Hey, you there?" Hey, but Jinsung was so busy thinking that he didn't notice. He was startled by being called out loudly and shouted, "Ah, damn, you scared me." A silver-haired female student asked Jinsung, "Are you a student in this class?" Jinsung looked at his friend with surprise and thought, "Oh, does our class have such a beautiful friend?" Jinsung hesitantly replied, "Yes, what's wrong?" The girl held out a card and said to Jinsung, "I saw they said you used this to introduce yourself." Jinsung looked at the card with suspicion, "Corporal." The girl asked Jinsung, "Why don't you have any titles? Why don't you take out yours?" Jinsung scratched his head and said, "Ah, that." The girl continued asking, "What is your military rank and name?" Jinsung was scared, so he said Company 2, Platoon 10, Squad Number 3, Private First Class Park Jinsung. Jinsung was scared, so he said Company 2, Platoon 10, Squad Number 3, Private First Class Park Jinsung. Hearing Jinsung's introduction, the girl asked in surprise, "Private?" Jinsung shyly turned away, thinking that he just made it up to avoid being bullied, because they made him practice killing, so his head automatically jumped into gear. The girl shook hands with Jinsung and said, "It's okay, nice to meet you, I'm Corporal Kim Seo." Jinsung shyly scratched his head and smiled and replied, "Yes, but why did you call me?" Kim Seo explained, "You said you were in Platoon 10, right? Tomorrow I will join Company 2, Platoon 10. Jinsung asked, "So you were transferred here, so from now on, please take care of me." Jinsung said as he left, "I have some things to do, so." Before Jinsung could step out the door, Kim Seon grabbed his school bag, pulled him back and said, "Slow down." Kim Seon pressed Jinsung's body against the wall and stared at him. The distance between the two of them was now very close, enough for Jinsung to feel her breath. Seeing that, Jinsung shyly said, Corporal, you need to be there at this time." Kim Seon coldly leaned close to Jinsung's ear and said, "No, I need guidance." Jinsung asked in surprise, "What are you doing?" Jinsung thought about On Sungho again and worried that he could come looking for him at any time. Suddenly, Jinsung shouted, "Wait, I'm in a hurry." "Can you go ask someone else?" Kim Seon replied, "No, I feel comfortable with you." Jinsung asked again, "Didn't I just meet you?" Kim Seon replied, "Just now." Jinsung thought to himself, "What the fuck, this is so scary." Seeing that Park Jinsung intended to refuse to be his guide, Kim Seon angrily ordered. Now Jinsung thought to himself, "What the fuck, it's so scary." He reluctantly agreed, "Okay, let me show you, now where do you want to go?" Seon replied, "Take me to Sergeant On Sungho." Hearing that the place Sian wanted to go was similar to the place he was planning to go, Jinsung happily said, "Ah, I should have said it from the beginning, that's where I was planning to go." While outside the door, Sungho was looking for Jinsung and called out, "Park Jinsung." Jinsung was startled and replied, "Senior on Sungho." Sungho sternly asked Jinsung, "Park Jinsung, I hope you don't neglect practicing." Jinsung raised his hand in greeting and quickly replied, "I'm planning to come right away." Kim Sian asked Sungho, "Are you sergeant on Sungho?" Sungho replied, "You're a second-year student, so you should respect your seniors." Kim Sian replied, "Here, the hierarchy is based on skill." Kim Sian said, "Are you strong enough to be my superior?" Sian replied, "It looks like you and I are equal." Sungho asked Kim Sian again, "Do you want me to verify that?" Jinsung saw the tense atmosphere and said, "You two are going to crush me." Kim Sian asked Sungho, "Sergeant on Sungho, are you currently dating?" Jinsung was surprised by the sudden question. Sungho answered frankly, "No." Jinsung said, "Leo, you don't have a girlfriend, senior, but I already guessed because you practice every day." Kim Sian said, "It seems so, I hate rigid people like you." Sungho replied, "It's okay, I don't like you either." Jinsung stood in the middle, surprised and said, "What is the situation?" Kim Sian continued, "Anyway, I don't care if you have a girlfriend or not, if you don't want trouble, just figure out what's going on." Sungho asked, "What do you mean?" Kim Sian replied, "My family is a bit noisy and they're also quite conservative." Kim Sian added, "For your own good, don't ignore it." Jinsung heard the conversation and thought to himself, "What the hell is going on? Who am I? Where is this?" Kim Sian turned to Jinsung and said, "Luckily he said he doesn't like me, private, do you want to go on a date with me?" Jinsung was bewildered and asked again, so suddenly?" Kim Sian smiled and said, "We are the same height, it seems perfect, I like men at my eye level." Jinsung fearfully replied, "I really don't know." Kim Sian looked at Jinsung's expression and smugly thought to herself, "So cute." Kim Sian asked, "Private class idea and what is your actual combat?" Jinsung shyly replied, "That's it, they're both F rank." Kim Sian heard that and shouted, "Lies." Jinsung replied truthfully. Sian said there was no way in this world, how could someone hold an F rank in both? Jinsung quickly replied, "Seriously, I'm not kidding." Sungho called Jinsung to practice, but Kim Sian still didn't believe it, so he said, "Don't joke." Sungho said to Kim Sian, "You should invite me to go for a ride, Jinsung will practice with me." Sungho encouraged Jinsung, "Come on, do this last thing." Kim Sian said to Jinsung, "At first I thought you were just making an excuse to hide from me, but are you really practicing? I have to look at you with different eyes." Jinsung saw Kim Sian following him and silently thought, "Why is she following me?" When Jinsung sat down exhausted on the ground, Kim Sian asked, "Are you okay?" Jinsung gasped and said to Kim Sian, "Since I'm here, please save me." Kim Sian asked back, "Since when do you call someone to save you when you see someone?" Hearing that, Jinsung thought to himself, "What about when mom asked me to be her guy?" Kim Sian turned around and said to Sungho, "You're too much, Sergeant on Sungho, why do you train with someone like this?" "He's just a private first class," Sungho replied, ignoring the difference between levels, "having one person practice with you is more than enough." Kim Sian approached and asked Sungho, "I don't understand why you try to help him like that, do you see any potential in him?" Seon's question made him frown in discomfort. "Tell me the secrets this boy holds. You see his true potential, right? Please answer quickly." Sungho replied, "I don't know what you're talking about, actually, you're the one who's looking forward to Park Jinsung." Kim Sian said, "You won't reveal it, right? Then I'll just ask him." Kim Sian immediately changed her face and happily turned to ask Jinsung, "Are you an intern? You heard us talking just now, right? Answer me." Jinsung smiled and replied, "Oh my god, you must be mistaken about something, I'm an F with useless beauty." Hearing Jinsung say that, Sungho grabbed him by the collar and dragged him away and said, "Enough of pretending to be stupid, let's continue practicing." Jinsung was dragged away and said, "Wait, why are you angry?" After that, Jinsung asked for Sian's help. "Sian, save me, Sian, Lady Kim Sian." In the classroom, the teacher said, "Okay, pay attention, a new student transferred in today, please come in." Kim Sian gently opened the door and entered the classroom. She stood in front of the class full of confidence. Lee Donghoon said, "Are there still new transfer students coming in at this hour?" The guy sitting next to him said, "She looks both beautiful and strong." Kim Sian asked the teacher, "Teacher, where do I sit?" The teacher said, "There's still space at the end of the first group, but first, let's introduce ourselves." Not paying attention to the teacher's words, Kim Sian voluntarily changed seats and said, "I like the 3 key group." The teacher quickly stopped him, "Wait a minute." Kim Sian walked towards the third platoon and asked the teacher, Please let me sit in the 3rd platoon. The teacher said, there are no more vacancies in the 3rd platoon now. Cian said to the black-haired guy sitting next to Jinsung, I want to sit here, please move somewhere else. The other guy replied, hello, 2nd year, 1st grade, even if you suddenly say that, this is still my seat. Seeing that the guy was stubborn, Cian bent down and coldly asked, aren't you going to move somewhere else? The student saw the murderous aura coming from Cian and stood up to make room. I'll go now, Cian replied, thank you very much. Cian was about to sit down on the chair when Byun Gyung asked, hey, transfer student, who are you to act so rudely? I'm the captain of Team 3, introduce yourself and your name. Cian crossed her arms and said, is your rank higher than mine? I heard that the highest rank for 2nd years is corporal, and I am a corporal. Not paying attention to Gyung, Cian raised her hand and said to the teacher, teacher, I will sit here. Byun Gyung said angrily, I'm the 3rd team captain. The teacher felt uncomfortable and sighed, another strange child has entered the class, okay, just sit there. Jinsung sat next to Cian, rubbing his face and complaining, oh my god. Seeing that, Cian turned around and asked, young soldier, don't you like me, why are you so indifferent about this? Cian put his arm around Jinsung's shoulder and warned, I'm sitting here because yesterday we were quite compatible, should I do something, there's no need to get too close. Jinsung replied, I won't be too close, okay. Jinsung smiled and replied, it's not that I don't like you. The teacher asked Kim Cian. Cian replied, yes, teacher. The teacher said again, you should at least introduce yourself to the class. Cian sighed and replied, I'm already seated. She reluctantly stood up, okay, I'll stand here and talk. Gyung saw that and raised his voice, hey, transfer student, isn't it basic courtesy to stand in front of the class to introduce yourself? Cian replied, I don't want to, everyone can still hear me clearly even though I'm standing here, right? Cian happily introduced herself, hello everyone, nice to meet you all, I am a new transfer student, Kim Cian, and will become a part of grade 10 from today. A student sitting next to Lee Donghoon said, what, he's behaving so disrespectfully. Donghoon replied, he probably behaved the same way at his old school. Cian continued to introduce, I am a corporal, my idea is a white jade elf. Another student said, I don't like him very much, because he seems hot-tempered. Ignoring the student's whispering, Cian continued her confident introduction, even though my family has moved here, I still hope that we can grow together from now on, thank you everyone for your help, please help. After everyone heard the introduction, they were surprised and asked, what, is this a real white jade demon of the white jade Kim clan, not boasting, right? The teacher shouted, order everyone be quiet even so, the whispers continued, that's amazing, I didn't expect there to be a white jade elf in the class. Idea the white jade elf is unique and can be passed down from generation to generation, according to common sense, idea cannot be inherited, and no idea has ever been the same. Because the things engraved inside the soul cannot be the same, but there are still people who want to inherit idea to make it stronger. To make it more refined, sharper and more dangerous, there is a family that can do it, that is the Kim family of the Kimhae clan, descendants of King Suro. Those born from the Kim family will be forgotten by their own clan and focus on endless ideological education and fighting for generation. To protect their bloodline, the clan only marries within the family line, their descendants are all white and petite. They successfully obtained an unusual idea, a Class A World Soul level white jade elf, the player's body can reveal the white jade elf. The user can summon the white jade goblin, however, the white jade goblin can only be summoned by females. In each generation, the clan's numbers decrease drastically and almost cease to exist. And the child born in the last generation, a sword-swinging goblin, was born. That child possesses both physical abilities and potential that surpass those of men. The last goblin has reached the pinnacle of swordsmanship, Kim Cian. A genius recognized by both his family and God, an extraordinary person. After introductions, Cian asked the teacher, teacher, can I sit yet? The teacher was still surprised, so he hesitantly said, okay, sit down. The teacher announced, from today onwards, Corporal Kim Cian will be the vice captain of the 3rd team, be quiet, shut your mouth. Byun Gyung objected, teacher, how can a transfer student be the vice captain? The teacher shouted, shut up. Gyung was scolded by the teacher and angrily cursed, damn. Jinsung next to him asked Cian, it seems like you're very famous. Cian replied, I'm really great. Jinsung said, ah, I see. Cian turned around and said to Jinsung, you are also unique, the label of F-rank trainee is very unusual. Jinsung shyly said, don't attack me anymore, I'm an ally. Cian smiled happily and said, I don't want to stop at all. Byun Gyung still bitterly said, just a transfer student who came out of nowhere to dare. Byun-gi turned back to look at Sian with an annoyed expression. In the cafeteria, a male student said, I think we should replace the captain of the third squad. Kim Sian is better than Byun-gi in every aspect, the girl walking next to her said. Byun-gi, that bastard Kim Sian has a D rank and better overall combat ability than him. The dissatisfied male student continued, he always gives very strange orders in battle. The girl said, that's because he wants to look talented. People around Gi-young started talking about Kim Sian. At first I thought she was arrogant, but she's really smart and has a commanding talent. Moreover, her charisma when fighting is so strong that I completely fell for her. It would be great if Kim Sian was the squad leader, another person next to him also said, well, she will soon become a squad leader. Gi-young heard that, angrily slammed his hand on the table and shouted, Kim Sian. As soon as class ended, Sian happily exclaimed, wow, it's time for lunch. She turned around and asked Jin-sung, partner, let's have lunch together. Jin-sung quickly waved his hand and replied, no, I still have to clean. Sian grabbed Jin-sung's collar, scowled and said, but I don't have anyone to eat with. Jin-sung immediately objected, Lai, you are now the most famous person in school. Sian angrily crossed her arms, turned her face away and said, I hate people who approach me for reasons like that, they keep looking at me secretly but never actually come to talk to me. Jin-sung still refused, still no, I'm really busy. I have to wipe the board, dust off the blackboard rag, sweep and mop the classroom floor, then go get supplies for the next class. Sian heard that and said, after listening, it seems like it's a lot of work for one person to do all that work, I bet even the squad leader can't do it all by himself, right? Jin-sung hesitantly replied, yes. Sian slammed the table and asked Jin-sung, no way, don't tell me you even did the work assigned by another squad leader. Not seeing Jin-sung's response, Sian angrily asked, not only that, but do you also do work for the whole class? Jin-sung laughed and replied, I'm already making it, so I can do it at hand. Wouldn't it be more complicated if many people did it? Don't misunderstand. Sian gritted her teeth and asked, misunderstanding, then grabbed Jin-sung's shirt and pulled him away and said, follow me. Jin-sung asked, where to? I told you, I'm very busy. Sian said, where do you think we're going? We'll go ask those idiots who keep pushing things onto you that they should do themselves, Jin-sung said in fear. Why? Wait a minute, I told you, I'm fine. Sian came in front of Lee Dong-hoon and asked, hey, I have something to ask you. The girl sitting next to Lee Dong-hoon asked, Kim Sian, what's going on? Lee Dong-hoon asked, do you want something from me? Sian said, yes, you are the one usually responsible for cleaning the classroom of Platoon 4, right? So why did you make the new recruits of our platoon do it? Lee Dong-hoon sneered and replied, that's because it's F rank. Sian covered Lee Dong-hoon's mouth and said, I don't want to hear your arguments. From now on, let's do the assigned work together. Bullying someone weaker than yourself is shameful, and I really don't want to be humiliated, do you understand what I mean? Sian removed her hand from Lee Dong-hoon's mouth and threatened further, if I catch you doing it again, understand? Lee Dong-hoon quickly apologized, I understand, sorry. Sian pointed at Jin-sung standing next to him and said to Dong-hoon, you should apologize to him. Dong-hoon reluctantly said, sorry F rank. Seeing that the problem had been resolved, Sian politely said, sorry for bothering you while you were eating. She turned to leave and said to Jin-sung, come on, newbie, let's go to the next person. Jin-sung asked, where do we go now? Haven't we already resolved everything? Sian replied, where do you think we're going now? We'll go see the homeroom teacher. Hearing that, Jin-sung was startled and asked again, what? Wait. After Sian recounted the incident to her homeroom teacher, the teacher happily told her, oh, so something like that happened to Jin-sung, so from now on, I will let you assign cleaning duties, Sian. Sian happily replied, yes, teacher. Jin-sung stood next to him and just looked down shyly. Sian seriously handed the work back to everyone, so now I will assign work to our squad. Sian gave the broom to the two boys and said, from today onwards, you will take care of cleaning the blackboard, and I will take care of cleaning the floor, got it? Dong-hoon and his friend next to him, when they heard they were assigned to clean up, were surprised and asked in unison, what? Why do we have to clean up? Before they could finish speaking, Sian both hit them with a broom across the throat and said, are you going against the orders of the person in charge of cleaning? The other two boys immediately replied, no. An annoyed Byun-gi walked towards Sian and called out, hey, Vice Captain. Sian turned around and replied, Byun-gi, do you want to clean too? Gi-young said to Sian, you should at least call me squad leader. Sian replied, okay, so what do you want? Byun-gi said angrily, why do I have to want something to meet you? I'm just talking to my subordinate. Sian thought for a moment and then replied, well, that's true, but because you're so annoying, I just need to become the squad leader, right? Gyeong angrily shouted, "What did you say?" Cian replied, "If you don't want anything, I'll go to class, is that okay, squad leader?" Gyeong shouted, "Wait." Gyeong quickly said, "After class, go to the rooftop, I have something to discuss with you about the squad." Cian said, "That's no good, that's it." Jin-sung, eavesdropping on the conversation, thought, "This is." So after school, Jin-sung secretly followed Cian to the rooftop and thought to himself, "Sure enough, she's going to the rooftop. It looks like our squad leader will be very busy today." Jin-sung stood behind the door eavesdropping on Cian asking, "So what do you want to discuss with me?" Gyeong showed a dangerous expression, walked up to Cian and said, "Are you pretending not to know?" Gyeong continued, "It's not clear to you now, whether you like it or not." Having said that, a group of boys appeared behind Gyeong. They seemed to want to bully the Cian council. Cian was not afraid, calmly said, "Our squad leader is really amazing, it seems like you are quite famous." Gyeong replied, "You are still a member of my platoon. After this discussion, I have no intention of laying a finger on you." Cian replied back, "So you mean you can't discuss things like this without more people coming here to help? Is our squad leader always this embarrassing?" Gyeong heard Cian say that and gave a sinister smile, then stepped back and said, "Looks like we have to teach this deputy squad leader a lesson." Cian pointed at herself, looked surprised and asked Gyeong again, "Are you going to teach me a lesson? Are you teaching me?" Gyeong heard that and said angrily, "You really need a good lesson. I will make you regret acting so arrogantly, Kim Cian." Cian still calmly crossed her arms and said, "Is there a problem?" Gyeong said, "The area commander should listen to the sergeant's orders." Kim Cian disdainfully asked back, "So are you stronger or smarter than me?" Gyeong was angry, clenched his fists and asked, "What? Aren't skills here determined based on rank? Either you have to be physically stronger than me, or you have to make better decisions than me. To be my superior, shouldn't you be better than me in at least one of those two aspects?" Gyeong was angry, gritted his teeth and said, "This trash." Gyeong ordered the others, "Hey, everyone, take idea." Cian looked at everyone's idea and thought, there are a lot of idea melee weapons, but everything doesn't have any special skill range. Gyeong asked arrogantly, "For a special idea like you, these things look pitiful, don't they?" Cian replied, "Not really, aren't you the one who feels that way?" Gyeong said, "Enough of the nonsense. Causing a ruckus with idea on campus will result in punishment. Especially for a high-ranking idea like you, for that reason alone you will be punished." Cian thought, these weak guys can use their idea as they please without being detected. Gyeong was thinking proudly, I summoned 15 kids like this. The idea in Kim Cian's hand needs a blade to use its true power. But she doesn't have that with her right now. So, when comparing an op character who can't use his idea properly with trash that can use idea, the trash wins. Gyeong said smugly, "Even you won't be able to handle this many people. I'll make you regret talking back to me, you goblin." Cian thought for a while then said, "On Sung-ho is very famous in our school. You guys don't think anything when you see On Sung-ho." Gyeong heard that and asked, "What nonsense are you spouting?" Cian said, "You know my idea rank, right? Now the question is this." Cian asked, "What is my overall fighting ability rank?" Seeing Cian approaching, Gyeong's juniors backed away in fear. Gyeong shouted, "It's all fake. Why do you guys flinch when faced with a fake sword without a sword? We have 15 people possessing idea, don't be fooled, charge forward." Cian said to Gyeong, "You should have analyzed like this in the battle team." Gyeong was angry, clenched his fist and said, "This trash." Cian scoffed, "Have you forgotten what we learned in class? According to statistics, a person with the name A can fight against 100 people with the name A. The system notifies the white jade elf with the name Adia with an overall combat ability of 8 plus A. The user's body is athletic white jade elf, with elf talents including swordsmanship and intermediate swordsmanship expert." Cian continued, "From rank A onwards, we are considered to possess disproportionate strength. Originally, one must know how to fight one against countless to receive rank A. Let's just say my power is only half. Do you still have any chance of winning?" Gyeong's juniors saw this and became even more scared. Seeing his men's fear, Gyeong said, "Why do you all flinch? She has no weapons for her idea. Catch her all of you, cat." A shaky, blue-haired man stepped forward, holding a baseball bat and responding to Gyeong's command, "Okay." He reassured himself, Kim Cian has no weapon. "We can do it." After saying that, he jumped up and hit Cian straight in the face with the pestle, but Cian was not afraid at all, still standing there calmly and speaking. "I like your curiosity, but aren't you approaching it too honestly?" Cian held the baseball bat, causing him to exclaim, "What, it's impossible." Then she pushed him back hard, causing all the guys behind him to fall to the ground. Cian arrogantly said, "It's won." Next, Cian jumped up and knocked down the remaining guy. The blue-haired student was knocked down at Cian's feet, saying, "She's still so strong without a sword. We are nothing when facing an A-rank Idea." Cian sat down in front of him and said, "You gave up too soon, that's why you can't be rank A." He shouted, "What do you know? From the moment you were born, you were chosen. Do you think I don't try to train? How can someone like you be chosen? Can someone born a genius with abundant idea understand the sadness of someone without talent?" Cian replied, "Yeah, you have no choice but to think like that, but the problem is that when I started, my overall fighting ability was D." The blue-haired student asked in surprise and disbelief, "Why rank D?" Gyeong pointed at Cian and said, "You rank D, don't lie, there is no one in this country who doesn't know about your family. If you want to play a psychological trick, you should say something believable. Who would believe someone like you with no talent?" Cian smirked and replied, "I agree, an Idea is rank A but her overall combat ability is only rank D, it's useless. I don't want to pick up the sword, but my Idea does, what can I do? I have to accept it." When Gyeong's juniors heard that, they were very surprised. "No way, it's definitely a lie." Cian said, "You guys will never accept the effort I put in. But that doesn't make any difference." Cian raised her hand, clenched it into a fist and said, "The efforts I put in are still being proven at this point." Gyeong did not accept what she said as the truth. He and his juniors rushed to attack Cian and kept shouting, "Shut up, shut up." In an instant, Cian defeated them all and said, "Even without a sword, you guys are still not worthy of competing with me." Cian defeated all of Gyeong's henchmen. Now Gyeong was the only one left. Cian said, "Only you left, Sergeant." Cian said, "Do you see how I intentionally left you last?" Gyeong still refused to give up and sneered, "I guess even if it's a trash can, it's still just trash." Hearing that, Cian sighed and replied, "Sergeant, I won't use it to take care of you again." Gyeong still arrogantly said, "Yes, it can't help you." He continued to arrogantly challenge, "Come and eat me, you goblin." Cian frowned, thinking, what kind of confidence is that? Does it still have the trump card? If so. Cian suddenly accelerated towards Gyeong and shouted, "You better bend your stomach." Seeing Cian approaching him with his fist raised, Gyeong thought, "I just need to destroy it." He smiled complacently, thinking, "You're trapped, Kim Cian. I know you'll avoid punching me in the face no matter what, you know you'll be punished if you do that, I'll catch that punch with my face." Imagine your surprised expression, if I tried to get Kim Cian to punch me in the side of the face. Then at the very least she would be suspended or maybe even forced to drop out of school. A price too low to treat you like crap. But when Cian was about to punch Gyeong in the face, a hand suddenly blocked that fist. It was Jinsung. He had to exclaim, "It's so dangerous." Gyeong saw that his plan was ruined and immediately cursed angrily. Trash. Jinsung didn't pay attention, but still smiled and replied, "Your pretty little nose shouldn't be broken, Sergeant." The card in Jinsung's hand that had just blocked the fist broke and fell to the ground. Gyeong said angrily, "Trash, how are you here?" Jinsung even pretended to slip, stepped on Gyeong's hand and then calmly said, "Oh, I accidentally slipped." Seeing Gyeong crying miserably, Jinsung smiled foolishly and pretended to ask, "Are you okay, Sergeant?" Gyeong angrily asked Cian, "Did you bring this trash up here?" Cian pointed at Jinsung and said, "Me, why would I do that? He followed me on his own." Jinsung looked innocent and asked again, "What?" Jinsung heard that, looked sad, turned away and said in a pitiful voice, "It's so sad, I'm not welcome wherever I go." Cian looked at Jinsung and thought, I have to somehow resolve the situation to change my impression of Byun Gyeong. But from behind the terrace door, he rushed to this place in just a blink of an eye. He opened the door and rushed here. And stood between me and Byun Gyeong, before my punch. He even completely blocked his punch. How could someone with F-rank combat ability like him? Park Jinsung, what exactly are you? Gyeong asked. Jinsung still looked innocent, looked at the sky and said, "Oh my god, the sun is about to set." Cian was suddenly startled when she saw a broken piece of plastic in her hand and thought, "What is this, a piece of plastic?" Jinsung turned and asked Gyeong, "Sergeant, the sun is going down, why don't we end this scene and go home?" Gyeong still angrily replied to Cian, "Who the hell are you to want to end it?